We are here at Founders Grove, and Founders Grove is actually a former Commerce Bank. My home that I grew up in is literally like 5 blocks away from here. My parents, my family, we banked here. So to be able to return here to do this type of work in an area where it needs some attention, it needs to be able to champion its entrepreneurs, that is significant to me. My name is Christina Long. I am the President CEO of Create Campaign, which is a nonprofit organization that works to help support minority entrepreneurs. So since 2015, we've been doing these inclusive entrepreneurship efforts. From that, we now have a reach of more than 400 African American and Hispanic-owned businesses in the Wichita area. I call it my legacy work. When I'm looking at what am I leaving behind, what can be built upon, there is such a gap between the experience of minorities in business compared to others. And so anything that we can do to be able to help move that economic base forward, we must. And so I find myself at a critical intersection of being able to do this work right now. When we look at the historical context of, let's just say, African Americans, not only are we having to overcome the impact of slavery and Jim Crow, but in those eras, it delayed us being able to access neighborhoods, to be able to have homes as assets. And we know in this country, to be able to build equity and to leave that to the next generation, that matters in terms of creating and developing an economic base. So because of redlining practices that did not allow loans to be given to us, when we look at educational attainment, if you look at suspension and expulsion rates, look and see who's being suspended and expelled. That definitely impacts to the educational attainment. Now, I am painting with a historical brush. I'm painting with a broad brush. Of course, we have our stellar breakouts as well. Even during those historic times, there were Black business districts. Wichita had a very thriving one as well. However, by and large, being able to sustain those districts has not happened. We have this spotted legacy, and so being able to help level the playing field a little bit more, to be able to help people take hold and grow deeper in their business acumen and knowledge, to be able to help open up resources so we too can experience equity in entrepreneurship. That is the work, and that's why our experience is different than others. In order to educate, you have to be in connection. That's where it starts, being able to have authentic dialogue as to what the challenges are and being willing to take a close look at our practices. Are we doing something unintentionally that might impact, again, people being comfortable to come and take part in events or to take part in conversations that lead to better access? And that's what we're developing through the Create campaign. We have created a space with partners who want to get it. They want to be seen as relevant and open. And for our entrepreneurs, it's also an education as well, that we don't have to wait until our things are perfect. Despite the historic context of which we're working, we don't have to distrust. We need to be able to also take the leap with confidence to connect with the resources that are out there for us and to be able to grow and build. Representation matters. There are so many people who could be inspired by another person's journey and walk because they identify more closely together. Being able to have an inclusive entrepreneurship ecosystem just makes sure that all of these great benefits of entrepreneurship reach further. So again, our entire city can be lifted. I just think that we struggle with getting outside of our comfort zones to carry messages beyond who and where we're comfortable carrying them. I have been very fortunate to be in a place to be able to access, the mainstream community and to be able to be connected to the minority community as well. There needs to be more of us who will be the bridge, and we need to help others cross over more fluently, because remove us from the space, and then what happens? We're back to being disjointed and disconnected. If your intentions are honest, it's necessary for you to step out and to take that leap. There's always going to be naysayers, but I tell you, to lessen your impact because of what others will say is a mistake. Part of leadership is leading from the front and knowing when to lead from the back. It's engaging others to be able to take up the baton and move it forward as well. That is your charge, and we must all face that crossroad of whether we're going to lead or whether we're just going to talk.